Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to just a quick little commentary over a hunt in Monster Hunter Double Cross, the Japanese-only release for the expansion of Generations. Sorry if I sound a little bit weird. Um, I'm battling a little bit of a cold here. I'll try and edit out my sniffles and stuff like that. Um, yeah. So for this hunt, I'm currently running Rathalos S, the Fond Farewell Switch Axe, as well as I'm using the talisman that you get at the start of the game, the +10 to gathering, and I've also gemmed in mycology, which gives me Mushromancer. And immediately we get a cart. Oh, I love Nakarkos hunts. I love Nakarkos. Speaking of, hey Nakarkos, hey the worst monster in the game, how you doing? So that was a little bit of a loaded statement just there. I should probably explain about that. I don't hate Nakarkos. His hunt is too long, and the fight is too boring. And let me kind of elaborate on that. Other monsters in this game have like a good general flow to their fights, and I think that Nakarkos tends to break up the flow of his fight, or her fight, I don't actually know what it is, a little too often. Yeah, and sweet, we got it with the ballista shot here. These are super useful. If it's your first time hunting Nakarkos, use the ballistas. They're an incredibly useful thing. But the fact that here's an extra gameplay thing to make the boss fight better, it doesn't really make sense in the context of Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter is all about being prepared and getting in there and using your skills and your items or whatever. And there's this element of this fight which requires you to only use items and specific things that are in this hunt. It just feels a little weird to me. Basically, if you're not familiar, Nakarkos, when you break both of its heads, it falls over, and there's like a little weak point, little glowing weak point. You'll see it later on in the fight. When it fell over before, that weak point fell out of the map. And here it's doing its I don't want the hunt to keep going move. This I really don't like, because it's literally just, now I'm gonna go step outside of the map. And it just slows down the fight. Nakarkos just decides, now I'm going to leave, and then it just sits outside the map where you can't hit it. Like, you can try going at it with a light bowgun or something, but it's just not worth it, because of how much it's moving. Probably could have picked a better weapon to go at this fight with. Aerial Switch Axe, for those of you who aren't familiar, is bullshit. It's got ridiculously high damage, and it's incredible for mounting. Probably wasn't the best thing to pick for this. Probably would have picked, you know, something with a little bit more standard approach to DPS. I think we've gotten it down to half health now, so I get a really good shot of it raising its head here. Something I appreciate about Generations and slash cross slash double cross is that all their bosses aren't just dragons. Like, this is a dragon. This is a fucking dragon. It looks like a dragon. It's got the design of a dragon. But it's a cuttlefish, which I think is just cool. And Atororuka, the final boss for Double Cross, is a praying mantis. And like, that just seems cool to me when like it seems like so much of Monster Hunter's big bad monsters are just these little fucking like these dragons, these generic looking ass dragon. I really do like Nakarkos' music. There's some cool theming being done here, where Nakarkos is like the zombie dragon or something like that. But basically, it's back and like everything is made of the bones of other monsters. This is also really cool. If you're able to knock out Nakarkos in its second phase, you can climb onto its back and start mining its weak point, which is cool. I like that. It's interesting. Always remember to grab the dragon bombs from the chest, because those do a lot of damage to Nakarkos. Anyway, as I was saying, there's some cool theming being done here, where like it's like the zombie dragon monster thing covered in like bones. It's interesting because then with the music, that you have a high emphasis on like church organs, which is just some like cool little details that they throw into the fight. Monster Hunter likes to do that a lot. Also, the animation on this thing, like, despite how much this fight feels like a slog, and I can't believe I didn't realize that it had fallen over. So I quickly try to get onto its back and try to get off the discharge. Yeah, despite how like awful this fight is, and how just unfun it feels to me, animation-wise, blows it out of the park. Monster Hunter's always great at that. Always absolutely phenomenal. One cool thing about this fight is that it does the heads, because it's like, I shouldn't say heads, because basically those are just two giant tentacles, and the first time you fight this thing, you only fight its first phase. So you're only fighting its arms, and they're just covered in bones as like a defense mechanism. So it's like a realistic kind of like nature thing, where it uses the bones of its prey to try and like disguise its real form. But those heads, those tentacles, can take on different elements and aspects of other monsters. which is a cool concept, I'll say that. Love that ending shot of like it recoiling back and firing its laser into the sky. Fun fact, if you're up on the cliff face before you jump down here, when this fight ends, the sky all becomes clear, there's no more clouds. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to quickly throw together a commentary to kind of test out some render settings and stuff like that. Nothing super in-depth that I want to talk about, just kind of air some grievances about Nakarkos. That's it. Stay tuned for more Monster Hunter and other general stuff.